Morning all. Okay, let's look at another fantastic game recently from the Alekhine Memorial Tournament. Vishy Anand, the current chess world champion, playing white against Michael Adams, Britain's #1 player at the moment, and a multiple times British champion. E4 from Vishy, and Adams replies with his Ruy Lopez as black, playing classically. After a6, bishop a4, he plays knight f6. Vishy castles. This is all standard stuff so far. After castles here, now we see a4, another popular move here, instead of say c3 or d3. So Michael Adams reacts with b4. Okay, slight concession of that c4 square. d4, d6, and now this continuation is a little bit on the quiet side, maybe wanting a draw with white. Just d takes e5. So this kind of symmetrical pawn structure enforced in the position should give white small nagging advantage, and often it's a drawing tool to head for a symmetrical pawn structure. And especially the exchange of queens. Queen takes d8, rook takes d8. Black controls the d5 square at the moment, otherwise bishop d5 would be very annoying on e5. We see knight bd2 as though knight c4 to put more pressure on e5, like this. So here, you might think also that white might consider some other moves, like bishop g5, maybe to try and restrain this bishop from using that c5 square, because one downside of this taking on e5 is black has that c5 square, and off this knight bd2, well, black actually goes into that c5 square now. Bishop c5, and f2 is now a little bit of a problem, a nuisance problem. Okay, here we see bishop c4 and now knight g4, which is a nuisance. It's causing a back row weakness with rook e2, having to defend that. So d1 is a bit of a problem, potentially. Knight a5, bishop goes now to d5, attacking the rook, rook b8, and now we see knight b3. Okay, so this looks as though it's a little bit vulnerable for the d1 square. So we see knight takes b3, and white has to accept double pawns now. So c takes b3, otherwise rook d1 is a disaster, especially with that f2 loose as well. So c takes b3, and in this position white is almost threatened with c6. Rather, if black had another move here, c6, but unfortunately bishop g5 for black. So Adams' next move, h6, actually creates the threat here of playing c6 to try and get to that d1 square. And against this now, we see h3. And technically, actually, black's best move here, Michael Adams' best move, is still to play c6, believe it or not. I've engine checked this game. This is technically the best move, because hg, cd, we have this kind of continuation, which isn't brilliant for black. The advantage is slightly in white's favour. But what happens in the game here is now very interesting after h3. Adams plays knight f6. And you might wonder, well, okay, is this really clever, giving up e5 for the d5 bishop? Well, we see knight takes e5, which is a very good move actually, because it now threatens f7 and also this knight c6. Knight takes d5 is played, and here Vishy blunders actually horribly. This dual threat, this part of the threat, knight c6 to fork both rooks, I believe would lead to a reasonable advantage for white here. It wasn't played. Knight c6 here. Black's best checking this earlier. Knight c3, trying to get out of the way and play things like rook d1. We can take, check. It doesn't matter, king h2. the rook moves out of the way. C takes b4. Say bishop f8, rook c2, and white's doing absolutely wonderfully here. This is a nice position for white, but unfortunately, the tragic thing about this game now is that after knight takes d5, e takes d5 was played, actually a routine recapture. And as we know from our own games, many of us online and club games, if you do like routine moves, sometimes you miss opportunities, and this is a missed opportunity because now black has got all the pressure. There's double pawns here, there's d1 is a problem. Okay, so bishop f4, bishop e6, black's slightly better here now. Instead of white being slightly better, black's slightly better. Rook c1, bishop drops back, this bishop drops back, rook e8, rook e3, c5 now. Knight d3 threatening to take and then take on c5. So bishop g3, rook, now double pawns here instead of rook g3. So this looks horrendous, these double pawns everywhere. And now a very clever move, rook ed8, inviting knight takes c5. That would be a horrific mistake. If knight takes c5, then black simply pins, not rook d1, he plays rook c8, pinning and winning a piece. For example, like this. So that was much stronger than any other move like rook d1. So that knight can't take the pawn, so we see knight f4, and now this is remarkable. We see a fantastic technique display here by black. Black's better. He's getting 2-to-1 pawn majority now on the queen side, but this is a very instructive move here. Michael now plays king f7. Okay, taking time for this is very, very good, very precise. And now he can work with that b pawn, and the king can guide the b pawn. So he doesn't mind losing c5 here. Protects that, and he doesn't mind losing these two pawns now, because his king is going to assist the b pawn. It's great technique, but this b pawn just wins. Because white's pawns, they're doubled here, and that doesn't help. So after losing h6, this pawn is now on its way to queening. So the rook gives itself up, and now it's actually hopeless. Black's able to win this quite easily now with the rook. It's a hopeless position. Here, Vishy Anand resigned. I know it's a bit of a damp squid game, but many believe, Vishy's under pressure. He's having to play another World Championship this year, just after last year, so he's probably saving all his preparation and energies for the upcoming World Championship. It's great to see him in the Alekhine Memorial, but I think it's understandable that he's under a lot of pressure from all directions at the moment. He's got to prepare for that upcoming World Championship. But a great win for Michael Adams nevertheless. Okay. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.